We're going to talk about distracted driving and maybe how technology is keeping us distracted. Joining us today, we've got our car expert, Tom Grothous, to talk about, this time of year, you especially need to worry about motorcyclists and pedestrians and bikers. And so we need to focus on the road. Don't be distracted, right?
Right. And we've got all this technology on the cars. And we've got all this noise that's coming from our cars. And when you get right down to it, if you haven't had a pedestrian walk out in front of you and all of a sudden a noise comes from your car, you start looking at your car instead of the pedestrian. So it distracts you even though you're going, what's wrong? And you're looking someplace else. So that's the thing that I have a problem with, is the noises that we get from our car that alarm us to cars on the side of us. We see lights, we see flashing, all of that stuff distracts us. And with all this distraction, we're still responsible for the pedestrian that walks out in front of us. We're responsible for the bicyclist, the e-bike that can go 40 mile an hour.
Right.
And you're going down the road at 25 mile an hour and all of a sudden you have somebody pass you on the right side and it's an e-bike. Who's responsible if you hit that e-bike?
Right.
Is it the bicyclist or is it you? And you're going to have your outside mirrors are going to tell you that, we've got somebody right aside of you. You're looking like, what's going on? And they've already passed you. So there's a lot of distraction. Even though we have the technology, I guess trying to determine who's responsible, nobody in driving your car wants to hit a pedestrian.
No, for sure.
Pedestrian doesn't want to walk out in front of a car. But the other day I was riding my bike and this pedestrian was walking down the sidewalk. The car pulled out, but there was a car coming, so it stopped. The pedestrian walked right into the side of the car because they were on their phone. Oh. Walking with their phone, not paying attention, thought the car had moved and the car had stopped and walked right inside of it. So, you got 3 foot for bicyclists. Most people don't realize when you got a car coming both ways, that bicyclist is going slower. And when you're coming up on it, you're supposed to give them that 3 foot, but they don't because the car's over there, so you can't go over the line. They don't slow down and whiz right past the bicyclist. So, if that bicyclist hits a hole or whatever. So, yeah, it's really, there's a lot of people out there, especially now with gas prices the way they are, motorcyclists. We've got a lot of signs that motorcyclists are on the roadway. A lot more motorcyclists, a lot more pedestrians are walking, a lot more bicyclists and the e-bike. So be prepared for all those technologies of your car that you don't hear all the time. So know what the signs are when you're driving.
I know what you're talking about, because sometimes it is startling. You're like, wait, what's that ding? You know what I mean?
And what's that different noise?
Right, and if you don't understand it, technology helps, but it doesn't. I mean, even, I was telling you the CarPlay thing where your phone's stuck in there, you still find yourself going over here, and even though it's not in your hand, you're still distracted by it.
You get a text message from CarPlay. You get a text message, you reach up to tap for the text message, and you're distracted, and somebody walks out in front of you. So, yeah. We
have to really remind ourselves that, it's an important thing to be driving and to know what's happening and to be alert at all times.
Exactly.
Just anything can distract you, and that's a bad thing.
We're responsible as drivers, but pedestrians are responsible for what they're walking across at crosswalks and when they're walking across. Bicyclists are responsible, especially with more people riding bikes, e-bikes and that. They're responsible too.
Right, yeah. A lot of responsibility out there on the road. You got to be careful.
Yes.
Thanks for pointing this stuff out, Tom.
Sure.
It's really nice to see you. All right, don't go away. We'll take a look at medical news next.